Hey, so I just got back from seeing Cruella and it was really good. Where do I start with this review? There's a lot to cover. First off, I should cover history with how I feel about Disney. I'm of the camp that said they used to be really good, but now they kind of suck. Even Pixar, I feel like, is starting to fall off the bandwagon too, where like everyone overhyped Soul for me. Uh, it it wanted to go deeper, but it was too kid friendly to truly go deeper, and the ending ruins everything by like being too scared to go through with what it wants to go through with. So they don't do the original ending, which is how it should have gone, and instead do a more kid friendly ending, which ruins everything. So I didn't like that. I actually liked Onward more. And it kind of perfectly describes how I feel about Disney. I didn't like Raya and the Last Dragon. I hadn't been liking anything that Disney's been putting out recently. I didn't like the Mulan remake. I didn't like Maleficent 2. I wasn't even the biggest fan of the first Maleficent. I didn't like the Lion King remake. I didn't like the Jungle Book remake. I literally like have not liked a single thing from Disney basically. But for some reason, and I think the reason is the director for this and the cast. And I guess it's not more so some reason, just more so like finally, thankfully, we finally have a winner on our hands that actually does deserve franchising. Like one that's really earned it. Like, sure, Disney is horrible and corporate and is gonna milk it, but there's one that deserves the milking, one that I'm excited for to have sequels and spin-offs and whatever and whatnot, even though it is a spin-off and not entirely original. And I was worried going into this movie that it wasn't going to be as good as it was. There's a lot of things in the trailer that worried me. There were a lot of things just about the movie in general that worried me. It seemed like a knockoff of Joker from the Joker craze, and it seemed like a knockoff of Maleficent from the whole like uh anti-hero feminist thing that Maleficent was doing. But like the weird thing for me about that is it's fine to do that with characters, but the whole point I thought of the villain origin story movies was to show how these villains became who they were. And if you're creating an alternate storyline of these villains being better people like Bates Motel style, only in there it's more of a twist. Uh, then you never find out how they really were becoming how you thought they were, who you knew them as, who you knew they were becoming. So it's just frustrating when it's like then it's not even the character that you've been wanting to see this whole time. It's just some other knockoff of that character, basically. Uh, so yeah, that's like what mostly my concerns were going in. Thankfully, the movie's about as good as it can be. There's still issues with it. Hold on one second. I'm gonna adjust the camera. Uh, I really like the soundtrack. The costume design. It's just very stylish. It's very well acted. The whole cast turns in great performances. The movie's surprisingly well paced for being 2 hours 17 minutes. I didn't really feel the runtime as much as I thought I would. Like I noticed that it was a bit longer, but I didn't feel like the long runtime. It didn't grate on me at all. Like I had just seen a Quiet Place Part 2 yesterday, and that felt longer. That had lulls in it that I kind of got bored at a couple points. And even that movie I felt was paced very well. Uh it's just that a couple of short sections of relaxation went on a little too long. But the first A Quiet Place didn't do structuring at all well. That's why I wanted to praise the second one for doing structuring at all. Uh yeah. Uh what else is there I can go into without going into spoilers? I wish there wasn't as much backpedaling in the third act without going into spoilers. The movie does have a goofy, over the top tone mixed with like uh darkness to it that's like more gritty. So that very much worked for me because it's just the nature of the character. And I don't know if that'll work for everyone else, but it did for me because Disney is just kind of goofy and unrealistic anyways. But yeah, because the source material like had enough of these elements, I was willing to forgive a couple of stretches that they needed to make in order to make it all work. Like a couple of silly moments with Dalmatians and stuff like that. Uh yeah. So like the tonal balance I could see being a problem for some people, but it wasn't really for me. The cinematography is gorgeous in the film. It doesn't look visually like any other Disney film. And yeah, props to the director who did the 2011 Fright Night remake. You guys have to watch that. It's amazing. There's your R-rated Disney film, your Disney live action remake. And that's what I wanted this to be more like was Fright Night, but I'm still happy with what we got. Uh Kind of felt like a lie hearing that there was like violence in this one. I didn't remember a scene where she had a shotgun in the trailer and it didn't appear anywhere in here. So that was a little disappointing, but oh well, who cares? Uh yeah, I might have to go into spoilers. I'm trying to think. Let me think if there's anything I can mention first. I guess I'll give it my score. 8.25 out of 10. Let me think if there's any other things I wanted to mention. Okay, cinematography wise, since it's obviously taking notes from Joker, there was, okay, so first of all, Joker is, very heavily Martin Scorsese inspired. Martin Scorsese even produced it. But that movie is basically a mixture of Taxi Driver and the King of Comedy, right? And Cruella, for that matter, is a mixture of Joker and The Devil Wears Prada, which, I mean, I guess you could call this the DeVil Wears Prada, right? And they do cash in on that joke in the movie a lot, which I appreciate with all the song choices. Like, what was the one? Symphony for the DeVille. That one's kind of charming. Uh, I like that choice. There's a lot of like smooth '60s UK rock songs in the soundtrack that I absolutely loved. It's got great taste in music for sure. It makes good use of the '60s setting and it being in the UK. I loved how they used it for sure. It does have like a heist movie feel to it, which is fun. Uh, and yeah, I'm glad the plot goes a lot further and a lot darker than I was expecting, which is good and different. And it feels original, even though it's not quite original, because, you know, it's based on a lot of things. And it is a little predictable, but not too predictable that, like, it's annoying. There are, like, cliches that happen and tropes that happen that are annoying, but whatever. Okay, back to what I was saying earlier. There's one very Scorsese scene where in Goodfellas, when they're taking the alternate entrance into the restaurant, and it's like a long one shot showing like the whole establishment as they're walking through it, getting to their seats. There's a scene like that in this movie, and it's a breezy like one shot like that. Only it has a hilarious payoff to it. I just wanted to pay homage to that. Like I want, maybe that's the wrong word. I wanted to shout out that scene because that was great. When I was talking about Martin Scorsese influences, they also played the song from the Joker trailer because, you know, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. All right, so if you have not seen Cruella, I am going to go into spoilers now. I saw it in theaters, but you can also see it on Disney Plus is available right now for premium access, or you could wait until August 27th when it's available with Disney Plus for free. I believe it's also going to be available on other video on demand services for $30 as well shortly. So, anyways, I'm gonna go into spoilers now. If you've not seen the movie, you may want to leave. So starting at the beginning of the movie, I was told kind of a half lie. I was told that Cruella's parents were murdered by Dalmatians, which creates like a terrible image. That it sounds like too silly to take the rest of the film seriously and just overall bad. Uh, just like it sounds like something that would ruin the film. But like not when you get to the end of the film, you realize that not a single word of that is true, even though at the beginning of the film, that kind of sounds true. So like if you're watching it on Disney Plus and stopped after that scene, yeah, okay, I could see you taking that away, but after you've watched the movie, you can't in good conscience say that. So that's interesting. Uh, but yeah, that was a thing. Have you noticed that every single character that dies in something Disney, that even like this, which is PG-13, is someone falling? Uh, I remember back in like the 90s when Disney movies that were rated G had like way more graphic deaths, like Tarzan. Oh my gosh, that when the dude gets strangled while falling, or like let me think. There's gotta be. Well, Bambi's mom gets shot. That's another G-rated one. Uh, anyways, it's weird how the MPAA has been updating in a way that's like so terrified of letting small children see anything even remotely like inappropriate, but it like doesn't let anyone else have any fun. It's just kind of dumb because like there's nothing like this movie is sterilized, but like the only reason I think why it's PG-13 is because its tone is so dark and it goes into dark subject matters. But they're things that were addressed in the G-rated original animated film. But the fact that it's live action now is the fact that it's made now is the very reason why it's PG-13 instead of G, which is dumb. Like I can't stress enough how dumb that is. Anyways, so Emma Thompson is a monster and it's great. Uh this is just yeah, the movie's just great. What were oh yeah, the backpedaling when I was talking about that. So I was really enjoying the movie when Cruella is becoming way more cruel to everyone. Because then it was starting to get really, really dark. And I was so happy when I was like, finally, they're gonna address the dog skinning thing. And they do it the right way at first, but then, as Disney loves, they backpedal in the third act where it's like, no, wait, she didn't skin the dogs. She just, I don't know. Well, they don't say that she didn't, but they infer that she didn't because, like, the Dalmatians then appear, and I don't think any of them are missing. And then she's like, I'll get you and your dogs too, like a Scooby-Doo villain. Uh, and then she fake dies, like, twice, which is a cliche to end your kids' movie by having the main character die and then come back to life and then be like, yay, happy ending. So, like, it was kind of hilarious seeing that they did it not once, but twice. That was kind of amazing. Uh, but yeah, and then they backpedaled her meanness to everyone else too, which was also a bit of a bummer. They didn't do either of those instances super hard. They didn't push it super hard. So, like, you could still see her becoming the character that, like, she was in the originals. Like, she is still mean enough and, like, villainy enough. This is, like, the closest we've gotten to, like, an actual villain movie from Disney. So, like, it does good on that front. Uh, yeah. It feels like it doesn't take the side of the main character, even though she's clearly taking her own side. She does narrate it, and it is from her perspective, though, so she tries to make things sound and look better than they are. but it's clear from your objective perspective that she's just as nasty as basically everyone else. But yeah, I look forward to the sequel. What other spoiler things did I want to talk about? I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, I like the part where I laughed a couple of times, mostly at Emma Thompson's lines. The writing was really good in this one. Uh Emma Thompson was like cutting Emma Stone, and she was like, I want that shade of red. That was good. Also like her doing the what is it called? She littered her food like for a split second on the end of one of the takes. The editing there was great. Where she was just eating her food during one of the scenes where she was talking back and forth with Emma Stone. And like at the last second, right before the cut, she throws it out of the car, which is moving. Uh, and that was yeah. Uh, but yeah, just like I wanted to see more evilness from the characters, which they did deliver on more than I was expecting, because I was expecting it to be as toned down as possible. But they'd give us a little bit of something, and and it does have its weirdness, which is good. And it does have personality, which is good. I mean, the director is very competent. He hasn't failed anyone ever. He did for Disney The Finest Hours with Chris Pine. He did Million Dollar Arm for Disney as well. He did I, Tanya was his last movie. So yeah, he's a really reliable director. And yeah, I just really love the movie. Let me know what you think of the movie. I guess I thought it was yeah really good.